Look it up.
I am. I'm fucking looking this shit up, man.
6.5. So, welcome to the show, everybody.
Ryan's going to.
So, Ryan,
Hey, time out.
we were just discussing their loss of last week. The loss of last week when the spread was 6.5.
Time out.
For the Washington scrimmage squad.
Whoa, time out.
Whoa. I gave you all the sources, dumbass.
Yeah, but Caesars had it at 1.5 at kickoff.
1.5? What?
Yes.
Who?
Caesars.
No, they didn't. They had
Yes,
6.5.
According to ESPN, they did.
Look, I'm looking at the Caesars line right now. It was 6.5.
Dan, who do we
6.5.
Who did we bet on last week? Who did we bet on last week?
Washington scrimmage squad.
And I got my money from
Fox. Yeah, because he bet when the line opened, not when we did our show. So you lost your pick.
It was 4:00. I mean, it was 4. It was 4 on Saturday night when we did the show.
On the opener, no, it was the we do it based on the game line. It was 6.5.
No, you know when we do the show.
Then they covered.
No, they covered 6. They didn't cover 6.5.
The spread was 4. When we did the show, it was 4. It was fucking 4. I remember saying 4.
Ryan, the spread was 6.5.
Cheating. You're fucking cheating. It was 4. It was 4.
No, at game time, it was 6.5.
But doesn't matter. The next day doesn't count. Listen, it doesn't matter when it was. It's Sunday at 1:00. It matters when we do the show.
When we do
the show at 4.
Well, I can go do the analysis and see the movement on the line and time it against the exact time of the show, but I guarantee it was 6.5.
I bet it. It opened at 6.5. I bet it at 11:52 p.m. on January 2nd, and I bet it at -4.
Thank you. There's
Stop telling lies. Stop telling lies.
No, it's lying.
Scott's
I got paid on it.
Shit there.
Scott,
I actually got a profit boost on it.
Dan.
Yes.
Did he not do this to us 6 or 7 years ago with the Raiders?
Yeah.
Same shit with the Raiders. You're doing it again. We won. I
don't give a damn.
Damn straight. I don't give a damn anymore.
No, we won. We fucking won.
I don't care.
You didn't cover the 6.5. If we had talked about it at 6.5, you'd have to watch the video over again. If we talked about it at 6.5, they didn't cover.
What did they talk about it on the video, Ryan? When we did
I'd have to go back and watch it.
I said -4. I said we're taking the Redskins at -4. It was never 6.5 when I did the show.
I'm sorry, you're a loser, but
you're a cheater. You're a fucking cheater.
So Dan bet it. Dan bet it at -3.5 on January 2nd at 12:19. Brian tweeted out at 11:53 a.m. that Dan and I are taking was -3.5.
And what day was that? What day was that?
Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday.
And me and Dan. Me and Dan. It went up
Sunday
to 4.
night.
Me and Dan.
Sunday night at 8 o'clock.
It went up when they found out that the Eagles were going to bench everybody.
Right.
It went up to 4. On Saturday night, it went up to 4. Me and Dan said, and I even said on the show, we're taking the Redskins -4. I said it, and if you're a producer and it was 6.5, then you should have corrected me on the show. So then it would still be your fucking fault. Isn't it the producer's job to make sure we're accurate? No, I'm being serious.
Yes, but this is typical shenanigans.
I don't care. Me and Dan we were 2 games ahead.
All right, if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. I agree. That's your call. It's a judgment call. Just be mindful of it. That's all.
All right, so we have the picking teams. Myself, the producer, Ryan, the office, against Danny, the 5 head of knowledge, and the sports betting guru. So So Ryan, we will go first since we're apparently behind in the picking challenge.
Oh, so that means we can actually take their pick from them then, since we get to go first.
Well, I've in all fairness, I've been basing it on who text messages their pick first,
Yeah, I know.
and they are always these douchebags are always texting them like Monday morning.
They don't actually work. They don't actually work for a living like us, Scott.
Exactly. We can't even look at our pick until right before the
Sitting in a
show.
desk and sleeping.
I literally when you texted me, that was the first time I had an opportunity to even look.
Me too.
That's how busy I'm spending.
Because we're busy people.
That's right. That's why I'm drinking. That's why I'm drinking along with you tonight. One of the reasons.
Nice.
Nice.
I was going to say.
I'm also drinking because tonight was Alex Trebek's final episode on
Yeah.
Jeopardy.
And I want to call out Jeopardy. They had a terrible tribute to him at the end. That was awful.
I'm not crying. You're crying. I thought they were going to do a little more, but
Yeah, I thought it was silly. You know?
Yeah.
It was disappointing that they did that.
Wait, I had a funny joke before you interrupted me. My
You're
brother
not very
Scott,
funny, so fuck you.
my brother Scott is busy. My brother Scott's busy destroying his liver. That's what he's busy. That's how he's busy.
Oh,
My
have I
liver.
showed
My
have I
liver.
showed you this yet?
It's funny because I almost picked the team against. I almost wanted to pick the team against them this week. So
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're
it's
guess
8.
they'll cover.
It's 8.
Yeah.
But you weren't picking them to win. You were picking them to bust to cover. I get that.
Just the cover. Yeah, just the cover.
Yeah.
It's 8. Yeah, I think
No,
Tampa's
Ryan,
gonna win that.
I
Tampa's
get
gonna win.
busting the cover, but they're not going to win. I get
No,
that.
not at all.
Yeah,
No,
they're not going to win.
No.
You got
Is Evans in or
you're
out?
like you're at like 8,
I mean, it's
8
not
and a
our
half
pick,
on that.
but is Evans in or out yet, or did they not know? Is he game time?
He's going to play. He's going to play.
Yeah, I
Don't
think he's
worry
gonna-
about it. Yeah,
Scott gave him a call. Guys, don't worry. Scott gave him a call. Pepped him up. Gave him a pep talk.
All right. So should we go with our pick?
Yep.
All right. So the winning pick this week is going to be
Besides the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Baltimore -3 at Tennessee. So I was reading a little blurb about this. Actually, kind of interesting. They knocked him out of the playoffs last year. Tennessee knocked Baltimore out last year.
That's really helpful, Ryan. Thank you.
Well, no. Listen. This is the
revenge game.
It's because they needed some offense or some defense to try to help stop Derrick Henry. So they went out and traded for Calais Campbell. They gave up I think like a 5th-round pick to Jacksonville, and it happened just by happenstance when they faced each other this season. Calais Campbell and I can't remember who the other defensive player were out. So it turned out to be a Baltimore loss. But Baltimore's coming in healthy. They're coming in on a roll. They've won 5 games in a row. They're starting to look like the team that was, like last year's team prior to the playoffs. Lamar Jackson's, getting his groove on, kind of like Stella got her groove on. He's a 1,000-yard rusher back-to-back seasons. I think he's the first quarterback that they say ever to do 1,000 yards back-to-back seasons.
No, first ever to have 2.
To have 2? Okay. I thought I read just like back-to-back seasons.
No, I think it's the first guy to ever have 2 altogether.
Okay. So the guy's a dual threat. He can throw the ball. I mean, his numbers don't dictate that he throws the ball as much, but he did miss, 1 game at least due to COVID. The other one, he missed part of a game because he had to take a poop. What he should just say, yeah, man, I had to
Poopy
take a
pants.
poop. Doesn't matter. They came out and won. So, and 3's not a terrible, 3's not a terrible line. I mean, so they're favored by 6 because they're playing in Tennessee. Since Tennessee is the division winner from the AFC South. So really what it comes down to is if the Baltimore defense, which is ranked, let me look at my stats here, 7th overall and 8th against the rush, can stop the rushing attack of Derrick Henry, then the game is on Ryan Tannehill, who has had a fantastic year. Looks like the guy that I think some people thought he was going to be in Miami. He's been a game manager extraordinaire. I know Brian loves game managers. He hasn't cost them the game. He's got. I mean, the dude's threw for over 3,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, and only had 7 interceptions. So those are some pretty good numbers from a quarterback. But Baltimore is pretty evenly balanced on the run and the run and the pass defense. And like I said, the offense is in a groove. I think everybody's supposed to be healthy, hopefully, for Baltimore, I believe. So I think that will make the difference between this week and the matchup they had earlier in the year and the matchup they had last year in the playoffs. So it's only 3. So what do they got? They're going to win by 4. It's going to be close, but I expect them to win by a touchdown. Maybe not even the touchdown, but the extra point, just like 6 points at the most. It's going to be close.
Tennessee's defense isn't great.
No, they're not. They need to. Tennessee's defense basically has to make a couple stops to give their offense a chance, because it's almost like whoever has the ball last in a Tennessee game is really who's going to win the game. But I think Baltimore is going to score. Score enough to overcome that 3
Well,
line. It's really not a big line.
They just need to stop them. Just enough. If they stop them a couple of times and they score and they're a crappy defense, then Baltimore should take care of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, like maybe a defensive score or a special team score by Baltimore could be the kind of difference in the entire game. Maybe Tannehill makes a mistake, goal line situation or something. Maybe Mike Vrabel pulls a Pete Carroll and makes a pass instead of giving the ball to Derrick Henry to run the ball in, and somebody that because I guess Malcolm Butler plays for Tennessee now, though, doesn't he?
I won a lot of money on that game, by the way.
What's that?
I won money on that game when Pete Carroll didn't hand off to Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, who's doing Subway commercials now, by the way. But that could be the difference in the game. Is a play some mistake. Is going to make a difference in tomorrow's game or Sunday's game. I guess it's Sunday. So that's my analysis for this week. Even though I did it like a half an hour, like 45 minutes ago after Jeopardy.
Now my brother's just going to read from somebody else's.
My notes, douchebag.
I
jotted down some notes
just
earlier.
Jealous of his intellect.
That's Hank. He reads from Hank Goldberg's notes. He just reads.
No, I don't. I jot down notes throughout the course of the week on my pick, dumbass.
You don't know who your pick was until today. How can you take notes during the week?
Oh, I meant I just jotted down notes today. My bad.
I won money. Last week.
Okay, mister? Are you playing lawyer ball on me now?
I'm just calling like I see it, man.
So Tom Brady. So Tom Brady is in Tampa Bay. The Super Bowl is in Tampa Bay. Coincidence? I think not.
It's never happened.
Yes, never happened before.
Oh my god!
Until you get the GOAT. So, as Ryan mentioned, Ravens, Titans, first game of the wild card this week. I'm just reading off my notes that I jotted down today. And the Titans clinched the right to host this game by beating the Texans in Week 17 and avoiding having to go on the road. But I think that they might come to regret that, since it led to a matchup with this red-hot Ravens team. So the Titans, when these teams played early this season, like was previously mentioned, they won. But I like the Ravens' chances in the rematch. Okay, because let me make a point here. It took. I'm just reading on my notes here. It took the overtime for Tennessee to win that game.
In this game. I watched that game.
And it came at a time when the Ravens were in the midst of a really rough stretch where they had lost 4 of 5 games. So Baltimore is now peaking at the right time. They've won 5 straight, as Ryan mentioned. 4 of those 5 came by at least 14-point victories. So they've been dominating teams. The team has finally realized how good J.K. Dobbins is. He rushed for 160 yards in a must-win Week 17 game. They got one of the best secondaries in the league. I don't know if Ryan mentioned that. And with the heightened defensive intensity of the playoffs, they should be able to shut down one Mr. Derrick Henry. And that was from my notes that I jotted down today. Thank you.
And one of the things not to be lost on. Remember, teams that streak in at the end sometimes do well. I remember a team called the New York Football Giants one time streaked in. I think they won I think they were the wild card entry. And who did they beat in the Super Bowl that year? One time, maybe twice they did it. Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, who were what? 16-0.
Who has 6 Super Bowl rings, by the way?
I know. I'm just busting your balls. But a hot team goes. They're a hot team. That's the point.
Yeah, but it's difficult. It's probably Brady was probably rooting for Washington because that means you had to face the Giants again in the first round. If
won, he's 0-for against the Gents.
Yeah.
Well, I also want to bring up that the Ravens and the Titans have the same record, even though the Ravens are the wild card team. So.
Right.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
I think there were are there two wild card winners that are the same that are 11-4 or 10-5, whatever?
They're all
11-5.
Cleveland.
There's like 3 teams. There were like 3 teams that all had the same record.
Cleveland, Tennessee, and Baltimore, right?
Right, and then the Colts have one less win.
No, they're 11-5 too. Also,
they're 11-5. So it's the Dolphins that went 10-6 and didn't make the playoffs. 10 wins.
And the Washington scrimmage squad is in with a losing record.
Yeah, they went.
It happens. It's not. It's. I haven't looked. I don't know how many times it's happened, but I recall it happening. 7-9 is not an uncommon for one division to
Seattle.
Was that who? Did they win the Super Bowl that year?
No, they beat the Saints and then they lost the next week.
Okay.
All right, let's have the pick from the 5 Head of Knowledge in the Sports Betting Guru team.
All right. We are going to take the Bills at what's the line, Brian?
6.5.
6.5.
Just like last week. Thank you.
No, for you fans out there, by the way, I heard we had 154. 154 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Somebody was talking about this 2 weeks ago.
No, that was 2 weeks ago. Last week we were back to like 5 years.
Yes.
Me and Dan won our pick. I just want that's for the record.
Well, thank you. Anyway, you get your turn with your brother. The Colts went 5-3 on the road this year. The Buffalo Bills went 8-1 at home. Buffalo hasn't won a playoff game in a million years. I think what's his name? Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Pete Metzelaars, and the rest of the gang were still there. I wonder if Bruce Smith was still there, and Phil Hansen, and whatever. So they have been waiting a long time. The last playoff game, today or yesterday was the 21st anniversary of the Music City Miracle. And then they lost that game. Then they lost the playoff game last year, or a couple years ago. They lost in Jacksonville, didn't they? A few years ago, some awful game. It was like
last year. Wasn't it last year?
Last year? Oh no, it was a couple years ago.
It was the year before. 2 years ago. Maybe it was 2 years ago.
Well, Josh Allen played in one playoff game and he lost apparently, but
yeah.
But they've been awesome this year. I mean, they rolled the Dolphins in a must-win game for the Dolphins. They put up 56. Allen deserves some MVP consideration, even though obviously Aaron Rodgers should and will win it. Diggs has been to that team. But the one thing I looked up that I thought was interesting is that Philip Rivers is 6-1 against Buffalo in his career, which I found fascinating. Whereas Allen has never faced the Colts, so this will be a new team for him. But I just think Buffalo their offense is great. They're not the best running the ball, but whatever they mix it. They put it together with Singletary and Moss and Allen running. Their weapons are good on the passing game. I like their offensive coordinator. He put a nice offense around Allen. The guy seems smart enough to be able to develop an offense that fits the quarterback, unlike a guy we know here locally who seems to have no idea what the hell he's doing. Luckily for them, Marty Morningweg is not part of the coaching staff. But the weather's supposed to be good. It's going to be cold. There's the whole dome team thing that they always try to put out there. But I don't think that's going to be that much of a factor. It's just cold. It's not windy and snow blowing. And I think there's going to be fans there, if I'm not mistaken. I think Mario Cuomo allowed the fans to go in there, like 3,000 or 4,000 or something.
6.
6? Okay. I think they have to pass a COVID test, and then they have to be good and whatever.
But aren't they planning like a Bills Mafia Capitol Hill assault on the stadium? That's what I heard.
No, they're letting them in peacefully. No need for weapons and bats. And
I think you had to win a lottery or something like that to be able to get tickets.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an interesting way of doing it. Fair.
No need for zip lines. There's no need for zip line cords. No need for zip lines.
But I just like Buffalo. They play really well at home, going 7-1. Their offense is rolling. Indianapolis played some crappy teams at the end of the season. The last good team they played was Pittsburgh, and they completely blew the game in the second half. They were awful. They got outscored like 24-7 or something in the second half. So they were bad. I don't, Philip Rivers has a mixed playoff record. He's only 5-6. So I don't really trust him. I like Jonathan Taylor, the running back. I think he's really good. But I think Buffalo is going to score on that defense. I know they played well the first half of the season, but then they start to tail off the second half of the season. And teams put up some big numbers against them. And I think Buffalo will be able to do that. That's why I think Buffalo will cover and win by a touchdown. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I think Buffalo will win by a touchdown.
All right, let's hear it, Boo-Roo.
All right, well, basically everything, I guess just everything Dan said. But before I do my
next point of business.
I would like to say, though, that I did look this up for Dan. I don't know if Dan knows this, but this is our fifth time picking the Bills, and we're 3-1. So this is our love train. This is our team's. This is our love train. So I thought I'd just throw that out there, love train. But I guess everything just Dan said. I think. So, I mean, I didn't look at the numbers against the spread or anything, but I think just the fact that they're 3-1 so far when me and Dan have picked them, I think that's pretty good. So we've done good with them. Everything Dan said, obviously, about the Bills' offense being on a roll. Josh Allen's looked like one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the NFL the last 5 or 6 weeks. I think he's thrown over 300 yards almost every week the last 5 or 6 weeks. The Colts defense has gotten worse in the beginning of the season. The first half of the season, they were a top 10 defense. And I don't know if it's injuries or COVID or whatever, but they have gotten worse the last 6 or 7 weeks. And like the Steelers in the second half, they did whatever they wanted. They threw the ball down the field, the long passes. I think Stephon Diggs and John Brown could have big games. I don't think the Colts secondary is good at stopping big plays. Dan is right. I mean, the Colts their offense has been playing better. Jonathan Taylor's been running the ball a lot better. I think the only chance, I'll be honest, the Colts have is if they can run the ball really well with Jonathan Taylor. If they can rush for maybe 160 yards, 180 yards, keep the ball away from Jonathan Allen, maybe they have a shot. But I don't see that happening. I think the Bills will get enough possessions to win the game, to cover, something like 34-21. I think somewhere along that lines. So anyway, me and Dan again, we are circling the wagons, baby.
That's right. Who circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills?
So just because you guys don't know, like obviously you guys know, but something you should bring up. It's a homecoming of sorts for Frank Reich, the longtime Buffalo Bills backup quarterback who would come in every time Jim Kelly, they were losing and Jim Kelly pretended to be hurt. He'd come in, bring him back. Then Kelly would be like, "Oh shit, my leg's fine. I'm back in." I mean,
that's right.
I could be wrong, but didn't he have something to do? Wasn't he the quarterback when they came back with all those like 40 point whatever? I forget how many points it was.
They were down 35-3, I think it was, and they won the game.
with Frank Reich at the helm.
Yeah.
So
He also had a good comeback in college too.
yeah, so that's like a huge thing. Like for me, that was like one of the keys. Like I think he's gonna feel. I think Frank Reich's gonna feel a little bit of pressure, going home. Really, that's his home. Buffalo's home. He played there for a long time. So he's going to feel the added pressure to win. Obviously, the fans aren't going to be in the stands, but this is probably one of the best teams that Buffalo has had. Philip Rivers probably has a winning record against the Bills because the Bills for a long time sucked while Philip Rivers has been in the league. This isn't the team that Philip Rivers has faced. They're almost a complete team. The running game isn't, they don't have Thurman Thomas. But they mix it in enough, and Josh Allen isn't the statue that Jim Kelly was, so he can beat you there too. Their rush defense isn't that great. So Jonathan Taylor and Hines, I forget Hines' first name off the top of my head right now, can do whatever they want. But guess what? When you run the ball, you take a lot of time off the clock, and the defense can stop them, to stop them from scoring. You want to put an 80-yard drive together and get 3 points out of it? Fine. Buffalo with Stephon Diggs. I don't know if Cole Beasley is going to play tomorrow or not. I don't know if Brown's going to play. He's been in and out all season. You've got Ian McKenzie, who had a fantastic game last week, who I should have played in my fantasy playoffs, but it didn't matter. I won anyway. The Bills defense is going to do enough to cover that in my mind. The best thing that they ever could have done was trade for Stephon Diggs. That has really made Josh Allen a huge threat. It's it's like if Andy Reid had done something like that before, years before he had to get TO for McNabb. McNabb could have been even that much better. They had somebody like that with that talent.
They had a thing on ESPN that before last year the Bills were 20th in passing, and now this year they're 7th. I mean, that's 13. That's 13 places they moved up, and Stephon Diggs is like the main reason, I think.
Oh yeah, he threw for 4,500 yards. I mean, that's in Buffalo. It's Buffalo. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't had bad weather or anything like that really for any of the games that I can think of off the top of my head. Playing outside in Buffalo, it's a totally different animal from playing some other places. Like, yeah, the dome thing, I get that they bring that kind of stuff into play, but have they had some consistency issues with the kicker? I can't remember the Blankenship. In Buffalo, Buffalo the stadium is actually not. It's like built a little bit below ground, just a little bit. So the winds come into play. The winds off of Lake Erie will potentially come into play. In Orchard Park. I will tell you this little tidbit of information. The first bet I ever made on the NFL was when I was a freshman in high school, and I bet on the Bills to beat the New York Giants straight up in that Super Bowl. And that's okay, Scott Norwood. I forgave you a long time ago, but I lost that bet. But I think you guys are going to win this tomorrow, just so you know.
I didn't know he was. I didn't know they played the Super Bowl in 1978.
Yeah, I kissed my ass. I'm not that old.
I remember a Bills game when I was a kid where who was the Bills coach? The Hall of Famer.
Marv
Levy.
Yeah. So he was the coach in I think it was the Vikings, but the Bills fans kept throwing snowballs at the other team every time they did something good. And they
my God.
had to stop the game, and both teams went back to the locker room because the Bills fans wouldn't stop throwing snowballs at the other team.
Dude, I'm from upstate New York, upstate Western New York. The stories I could tell you. I mean, I had a buddy in college. They went to the Seattle Seahawks. He's from Jersey. He was a Seahawks fan. I don't know how, but he went to Rich Stadium at the time. That's what it was called, for a game. Him and one of his buddies who was a Giants fan, and he wore this hat, kind of like that Eagles hat girl with the thing, but there were no wings. But it was that Seahawk, the bird that came out on the brim. People tailgate a lot, and the Bills were good then. So there were people that were going to beat the shit out of him. Security had to stand there with him the rest of the game so he didn't get beat up at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. And we're talking, this is 1990. probably the 94, 95 season. When I was in my freshman year of college. That a guy that lived on my floor. That's how they are in Buffalo. Bills
Well,
Mafia. They might call them the Bills Mafia now, but they've been in Bills Mafia for a long
but that
time.
guy's lucky. If that had happened here, they would have let him kick the guy's ass, then throw him
Oh yeah,
out.
definitely. Yeah. I've seen the same thing kind of happen in Philly too.
Well, Philly is the only stadium where they actually had to put a judge in a courtroom in the stadium.
That's at the vet.
Yeah.
They had a
That's
jail
awesome.
at the vet.
I
They
do
had
have
a
a
jail
question.
in the vet,
They did. They had a holding cell at the vet.
and they had a judge there on duty.
Yes, they had
for
a
every
judge.
game.
Brian knows all about it. He ended up there once, didn't you, Brian?
That's right. No, I have a serious question though. I have a serious question, Ryan. I've always wanted to know this. Bills Mafia. Is it true that when they tailgate, a lot of the fans they put a table and someone will jump through it? It happens at every game.
Yeah, I have friends from college. Like I get videos on Facebook of people just jumping through. They like to jump through the tables like in a table ladders and chairs match in like wrestling.
It's a Buffalo
awesome.
thing.
Yeah, it happens in Buffalo. I've seen them where they light the table on fire and jump through it. But yeah, no, it happens. It's a big thing now. They'll power slam you through one if you want. Josh Allen, I think, talked about if they win the Super Bowl, I think he said he's willing to jump through a table in honor of the Bills Mafia.
That's my kind of quarterback, man.
Yeah, I don't know if the Bills would be happy with that.
Yeah, no, probably not. But they could doctor the table up so make sure it actually breaks when he jumps through it.
I think on this show, if the Bills in the Super Bowl next year, Ryan Robinson has to go and jump through a table before Bills game. I think that.
I'm not a Bills fan, but I would totally do it if it was okay with the Bills.
Shirtless.
Sure.
I'll do an Speedo. I don't care.
Well, we can go in September.
I mean, we don't get that many viewers anyway, so. I mean, that would be the one to go viral, though, with my luck.
That's the one that Maggie will watch. Like after you die, she'll be like, "Look at my dad jumping through this table. He was such a crazy guy."
Yeah, she would do that to me. It'd be like, that would happen. Hey, who knows? Maybe by then I'll have my podcast up and running, and we'll have some viewers.
Well, you can't view a podcast, can you? There's no video, right?
You can do video and audio. Yeah, I've been contemplating.
You didn't contact me about being on it, so I know.
Well, I'm working on the details and what I want to do and everything like that. I think I'm going to start one just for something to do.
Yeah, but I think I'm a character. I think we're all characters here.
Oh no, you guys could totally be guests
on the show.
I have no problem with that. We
throw the dog a bone. Throw the dog a bone here.
I watch podcasts on YouTube, so everyone does them on YouTube.
Yeah, it'd be pretty fun. I there's a free app with stuff, but I've been I'm gonna want to get the I got to get a soundboard on my computer and get a proper microphone and stuff like that. So, but no, it's something I've been thinking about. Especially, I was going to do it during my coronacation.
What is the theme of the show?
I haven't decided yet.
I need to prep.
I think it's going to be a show about nothing.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Brian and his adventures.
And just do something whatever I want to talk about that particular night. Like I was talking about doing one with Maggie, like do an episode with Maggie where we watch an 80s movie or something and just do a critique of it or something, something to just have some fun.
Eddie and the Cruisers?
Dude, that would be after I got used to it, that would be probably my best episode. I love that fucking movie. I love that movie. Eddie and the Cruisers. Come on, I'll play a song for you. Well, no.
I know. We were just talking about that today. I was playing that song at work, and the girl said, "Oh, I love that movie." And I'm like, "I don't think I ever saw it."
Here we go. Let me see.
It's by Cafferty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was playing that song at work today, and I said, "Yeah, I don't think I ever saw the movie."
Ryan, you can dedicate a show to Dan's love for Charles Bronson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's right.
Man love.
Or Brian. Or Vin Diesel for Brian.
Here we go. You know this song.
Yeah.
We do not. We do not own the rights to that song. It is the property of John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band.
You
I
must have
played Ryan. I played that song at work today because I play music
Really?
every Friday.
That's really, I love it. I love that movie. Tom Berenger, Michael Pare.
But the girl I
Joel
work with, she
Pantoliano.
said I love that movie, and I'm like, I never saw the movie, but I love the song. It's a great song.
The first one's much better than the second one, but you know, Eddie lives
What's the name
What
of the
movie?
song?
What was the
on
movie?
the dark side.
Eddie and the
On the
Cruiser.
dark side.
Eddie and the Cruisers? I never heard of it.
Oh my God.
Dude,
Never-
man, it takes place the Jersey Shore, dude.
No, I never heard.
of it either. I've never seen
Okay,
that movie.
Well, in
I've
Brian's
seen American
defense, I think
Graffiti,
it
but I
came out
haven't
when
seen
Brian
that.
was born. I think it's
In
from like
19
'83, somewhere around there.
No, we know my movie, baby. Top Gun. Woo woo! What?
Yeah,
There's a new one coming out, right?
it is next year, this year sometime.
Well, Brian, you know Charlie, the Charlie character was supposed to be a man. Original script.
It's people say that's a movie about with a lot of homosexual undertones.
Yes.
Just so you know.
No, the
Well,
best
it's
the best
a
line in
gay
Top
movie.
Gun. The best line in Top Gun is where the chick is interviewing Tom Cruise and he says he was staring this Russian pilot directly in the eyes. And she says, "Well, if you were flying above him, how could you look him in the eyes?" And he says, "Because I was inverted."
I was inverted. He's the fan too. Hey, and Scott, just so you know, the woman in the movie that plays Charlie is Kelly McGillis, who was in the movie Made in Heaven, which I actually like. Her call sign was Charlie. She's actually a lesbian.
I know
And
she is, yeah.
She I don't know if she still lives there, but she used to live not too far from where Brian lives in New Jersey. Does she?
Wow.
And wait, I got a better story. She has the same realtor as Dave Bergstraw.
Really?
Swear to God, Dave. That's Dave's like best story he tells.
She was hot back in the day, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then when you look at recent pictures, you're like, what? What
Yeah, she got fat. Dave said she got fat.
He did.
Yeah.
Did she ever have an encounter with Joey Papers?
I don't know, but I
Why didn't you
love
get him on the
she was a good
show?
actress. Though. I liked her. She was pretty good.
She looked hot in that movie. I get you.
But
There
that
was
character
another-
was supposed to be a man, and then Tom Cruise was to have an affair with that dude, but they changed it.
Okay, Maverick. Thanks for the
I was going
analysis.
to Scientology. Not really.
Right.
We have no problem with Scientology. They may choose whatever they want to do.
Yeah, and they're right up the road from
I
me.
don't want to get
Thank you.
sued.
I have to deal
Yeah, I
with
wonder
it.
how
Freedom
John,
of religion. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. You just can't ban me like from Twitter, like Trump, Jack banned Trump.
So this is an unprecedented wild card week because we have 6 games. I don't think that's ever happened, correct?
No, they changed it
No.
this year. For 7 teams in each conference make the playoffs.
We almost had 8 if that Browns game would have gotten canceled. We would have had 8.
So I have a quote about that.
Get your popcorn ready.
T.O.
Is that
That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
I don't know what that was. But anyway.
I love how Tia threw McNabb under the bus again. That was great.
Oh,
I love it. He'll never get over that. They'll
No,
never stop.
he said McNabb got drunk the night before the Super Bowl. I thought he was throwing up in the middle of the field.
Yeah, it's all right. Didn't somebody on the Atlanta Falcons one time couldn't even play in the game because he got picked up in like a prostitution ring?
Yeah, Eugene Robinson got picked up by a phony cop in a sting operation.
That's what I thought.
Who-
I don't know if
who
he
was-
wasn't.
Who was the guy that on Super Bowl Sunday they were like trying to find in the hotel?
Center.
Robbins, wasn't it?
I think it was the center for one
Garrett
of the teams.
Robbins.
And he didn't show
Yeah.
up for the game, and they
He went to
didn't know where he
Mexico.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had a mental health breakdown or something.
yeah, he went crazy.
The day of
James.
the Super Bowl. Who
A lot
was
of pressure,
it?
man.
Who did he play for?
Oakland. Well, the Raiders. Your Las
that-
Vegas Raiders.
Was that when
Tampa. Tampa blew him out.
no, who was the quarterback? Rich Gannon?
Yeah. First Brad Johnson. Two of Brian's favorites.
Rich Gannon from Norristown.
That's right. Went to Delaware.
Speaking of Norristown, rest in peace, Tommy Lasorda.
That's right, baby.
Yeah.
True. Rest yes.
One too many hot dogs for him.
Hey.
He was 93.
You know what, though? I saw something interesting on him. You know what the last baseball game he saw was?
Yeah, the Dodgers win the World
Dodgers
Series.
winning the World Series. What a way to go out, man.
What a way
Wow.
to go out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool, man.
Yeah, it is. Good for him.
Why Dodger blue forever?
Did he
Yeah,
have
that
good
is-
tickets? Did he have good tickets for the game?
He probably could have been in a dugout if he wanted to. That man could go wherever he wanted. Guy's
Yeah.
a legend.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
Yeah, I liked him. Well, I liked him better when he told Dave Roberts, something. He basically said, "You can't say shit until you won one," or something like that. I can't remember. They caught him on a hot mic. Not this past one, but one of the last ones they were in. He basically said, "You're not shit until you win one."
Well, I know
That's
he
the
was
sort
a
of for you.
Dodger, but was he ever on any other team than the Dodgers?
No.
So he was the
No.
Dodgers for life.
He spent 50
Dodgers
years in
for
the
life.
organization, I think. Something like that.
Wow.
He was a player. He was a terrible player for them, but then he
Yeah.
became a coach. And then
I mean-
when Walter Alston retired, he took over as manager.
And then you got to think about Mike Piazza, Hall of Famer. Probably doesn't even get drafted if it's not for Tommy Lasorda because he's a local
Cousin.
guy.
He was a
What's that?
cousin of
Are
his.
they? I didn't realize they were related.
Yeah, there's some cousin relationship between him and something, and he's the godfather of Piazza's brother.
Italians from Norristown. There we go. That's all that matters. He's an Italian from Norristown.
Yeah, right.
So you think about it, like the influence that Tommy Lasorda had on not just the Dodgers, but just baseball in general. I mean, it's amazing. It's a sad day for baseball.
Well, and he was coaching back when what's his name was coaching for the Yankees, right?
Billy Martin.
Billy Martin, yeah, right. Weren't he and Billy Martin like coaching at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from Fernando Mania. I mean, think about it. Fernando Valenzuela was a rookie pitching for the Dodgers under Tommy Lasorda. All the great players. I mean, the Dodgers, they had a great system. How many Rookie of the Years did they have? Like, it seemed like every year they had a guy coming up that was a potential Rookie of the Year candidate.
Well, before he was the manager, he worked in their minor league system. He helped develop all those young players they had back in the 60s,
Right.
and 70s. I mean, they just kept turning these guys out. And then in the 90s, what was it, 3 or 4 in a row, like Piazza,
Yeah.
Carlos, and I forget the other guy, Hollingsworth,
Hollingsworth, yeah. Hollingsworth was a Rookie of the Year, yeah.
former Cub great.
Yep. Oh, yeah. He was doing games for Chicago Sportsnet not too long ago before the Cubs left to go to Marquee.
Yeah, and I saw they hired that guy. What's his face?
I like Bruce Scomby. I like him. He's good. He's a good guy. That was a good signing by them. That was really good for their booth. Too bad nobody can watch the goddamn channel because it's not. You can't get it. But
Well, you
whatever.
could watch it.
Well, if I wanted to pay for Marquee, I don't want to pay for it. I already pay enough for cable.
Well, what's it called? Through T-Mobile, I got the baseball package for free last season.
Did you?
I watched some of their games. Yeah.
I just want to say one.
That's really interesting, Dan. Thanks for the show content.
I just
Appreciate
have
it very much.
Before we leave the air, I just have a shout out to Jim
You don't
Schwartz.
you don't have big boobs like the AT&T chick, so shut it down. Shut it down.
I have a shout out.
I have no shot against her.
I want to shout out to Jim Schwartz. He's finally gone from the fucking Eagles. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, Jim Schwartz. So I shout out to Jim Schwartz. You suck.
I think it's more fun when Scott talks about the AT&T girl.
Me too.
All right, good luck, fellas.
All right,
good luck.
see ya.
All right, good luck. See you next week.